Good evening, VRML. On this fine Monday night, we're here for some action on this Week 15 matchup. It's the final week of the season. We've got some amazing matchups. Kicking off this week is going to be Mayhem versus Raptors. I'm going to be your caster Etch tonight. Joined with me is our co-caster Kesnei. Kesnei, how are we doing tonight?
Excellent. It's a Monday. Can't complain coming in this final week. It's exciting.
Absolutely, and this is a matchup that, we've seen it twice already this season, but we just can't get enough of it, and I'm really interested in it because the first time these two teams faced off, Mayhem were at the top, Raptors are climbing, and Mayhem had a dominant win. The second time they faced off, Raptors and Mayhem were both kind of in the middle, with Mayhem on a downswing, Raptors on an upswing. Raptors shut out Mayhem. Now they face again, tides have turned, Raptors are sitting at the top of NA, Mayhem on the verge of they're not about to make playoffs unless they win this. So, this is going to be an all or nothing game for them.
I mean, I think they're going to come out guns blazing. It's going to be a fight. I mean, Mayhem, of course, wants to be in one of those, we'll say top 7 slots going into playoffs. And Raptors has something to prove as this is I think it's season 2 for them, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's their second season, and they've had great, great upswing. They had a fantastic season 1, and season 2 they've just been doing even better.
Yeah, they've been just taking down names across the board, and it's just, especially getting to kick off the final week with, in my opinion, some of the greats out of, the NA region just as a whole. It'll be a fun battle to kind of watch it kick down as well.
Yeah, and there are huge playoff implications here. I mean, Raptors might be number 1 in NA, number 4 in the world, but they're only, 10 MMR away from that 7th spot that everybody is fighting for. And Mayhem are 10 MMR away from getting into that 7th spot. So this could be a huge game for both of these teams. I think, more is on the line for Mayhem. I think Raptors potentially could afford a loss here and still make it into that top 7, but they're also coming off a loss against Blaze last week, so there's momentum on the line as well for them going into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and I think, really, it's amazing too that it's so close on that MMR, just swing all the way across the board. I mean, the only thing you could hope for really is going into that final week with everything on the line for all the teams. No one's necessarily, there's like a team I think that is established well ahead at this point, but I mean, other than that, it's just almost a stone's throw away from everything and out and in coming into that final week. Yeah,
no doubt about it. But all the players are in the lobby. Let's quickly go over the picks, the bans, and the pick for map 1. Why don't you let us know what they are going to be?
Absolutely. So on our home side, or Mayhem at home, has come up with their ban today, and their ban is going to be Suburbia. Coming on into that, I guess, tell me a little about what you're thinking, as a knee-jerk reaction to that, from that kind of a ban perspective.
Well, Mayhem are, traditionally known to ban Suburbia. It's a map that they often ban. Their other ban is USS Quest. I think this Raptors team, they probably think Raptors don't want to go to USS Quest, but I don't know, maybe Raptors will throw that curveball and go USS Quest. Who knows?
It's hard to say, from the Raptors' perspective. I mean, we've really only seen them play the USS. There's only 2 S's in that Quest twice this season. And they actually only have, it's a 50-50 win rate. And it looks like for the most part, they really didn't do overly well on USS Quest historically. So I think that's a safe bet from the Mayhem side. But I think you're 100% right. They don't really trend to like Suburbia, and they pull that out.
Yeah, and from the Raptors side, they're banning Snow Peak, so it's, they banned Snow Peak once, they banned Subway the other time they played, so I think if you ban one, you have to expect to play the other against Mayhem, so who knows, maybe they have some plays of their own. They tried it last time. This is a map that Mayhem are dominant on. I think across VRML, historically, I don't think there's a team and a map that is stronger, a closer fit here. But let's jump into it, as it looks like we are going to see Mayhem in action on Subway, starting off with that Chinatown OBJ.
We are starting up on top here with Chinatown, and it looks like from the spawn from the Mayhem side, so they are going to start on the northern half of the map. There's 2 different spawns here, and they're going to run a split, it looks like, sending 3 upstairs.
And there's a quick kill there from Rypik, but a quick revive as well, as Rypik pushed that corner, took a look at that south side, still in a 5v5. Rypik going to toss some more utility now. Flash comes out, probably not going to catch anybody. But if he continues to challenge it, they might be ready for him, and yes, they are. Wookie gets that first pick.
Good tucked position there, holding that angle there from Wookie, and that's going to establish that northern half there, and that push is going to be effectively shut down, if you will, or excuse me, south. I have my directions flip-flopped. Meanwhile, it does look like we have Mono and James that may be making kind of a northernly push here, but we're not going to see action from that probably for quite a while.
Yeah, it looks like they're staging, maybe waiting for anybody to push them, which would be quite aggressive for anybody to push down here. But nevertheless, they're going to be waiting for that. Meanwhile, over here in the south, we did see FG soldiers push forward a bit, throw some utility, and then back out of there, allowing Cappy and Wookie to push up further now without any opposition.
It seems like Mayhem's probably trying to move out and kind of time this approach in and scan it out. They really need to have 2 points of entry to be really challenging to any sort of defense that's going to be mounting within that objective, the Chinatown, with that the Chinatown square, if you will. There is looks like out here into the south, Wookie is going to go ahead and pick up Def, though Def threw a flash. It just went a hair too high and a little too far to the right, so I doubt it was terribly effective, though. It may have flashed Cappy on that particular approach.
Yeah, Marksman, though, with a nice peek, takes out Wookie there. They both were looking down that long angle. Over here in Chinatown, we've got this triplet here, holding down some nice angles. Good coverage. James and Mono, though, are making that northern push now, so they'll have to deal with Marksman soon. I imagine we're going to see some utility fly out from James, and there comes a nade. It's going to be too short onto Marksman.
Ooh, it's a little off, but Marksman is he's probably top 3 best shots in the league. I mean, it's just amazing how fast he can kind of take light, and even with that peak there onto, I think it was Wookie earlier, I mean, he just pulled that around and just a couple shots and it was over.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we should expect some more utility to come out here. But this north angle to push through is very tough. Definitely depends on Deflate and Cappy making some noise for them.
The smoke coming out, it'll be interesting to see if Marksman steps too far forward. He is going to get picked up by Capitano walking right across that line there. But Cappy's going to move in instead and get picked up by Soldier Z. And that's going to shut down that push in there from Cappy and Wookie moving in, leaving that 3 defense stronghold still there.
Yeah, great work by Marksman and Soldiers there to just shut down that push coming in. And now it's up to Defilade and James is going to rotate now. Defilade has to hold for this push to happen, but he doesn't, as Tiger is able to spot him through that little gap in the smoke and take him out.
Now it becomes a patience game, which I imagine Raptors will have no problem in playing and just sitting here for the remaining 2 minutes and 13 seconds while we have James kind of crawl up and make his approach onto objective here. But he has to really make that play.
Yeah, we're riding along with James as we see what he does. He does have some more utility left. He just launched a smoke there onto that corner. A little bit too far. It's going to be tough to penetrate this defense.
It will be. And it's a 1v3, and I think if there's really any objective that you don't want to be in this situation on, I think it's the Chinatown objective. Maybe only matched with one that's in the mid-level, because there's just so much open area to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good start for Raptors here. They just had a good 3-man defense holding things off, so
yeah,
that's how they want to start Mayhem's pick.
It's it's the way you'd want to open up anything, and I think really VR Marksman taking that peek down the the south alley and picking up Wookie out there and really shutting down that push forward, I think was a pivotal moment, and there kept this alive because it had to be then a push there coming in from a one person, which is Cappy, and of course Tiger's gonna pick that up there. That's gonna pull off the point for Raptors. That puts them on the board and the first of round 3.
Yeah, great round for Raptors there, and they start off things with a bang there. We'll have to see if Mayhem can respond in kind. Raptors do, of course, have Volk advantage at the moment, so Mayhem will need to win all their Volk rounds and win a Marsoc round to take this map. But unfortunately, we're not getting any games comms audio, which really sucks because both of these teams are very active in their comms. So hopefully, maybe we can try to fix that between this map and the next one. But I'm sure there was a lot of callouts going on and a lot of communication that we couldn't quite hear.
Oh, across the board, I'm sure. I mean, they're both very, very chatty teams, unless of course they're trying to be quiet. But I mean, when you start throwing grenades, moving around and firing guns at that point, they know where you are anyway.
Yeah, for sure. We didn't see any C4 there that round. Couldn't quite tell if it was disabled or if it just wasn't there. But that was a little bit of a surprise there for me.
It was a shocker. I actually went around looking to see if I could find something that maybe wasn't triggered or set off, and I didn't even see it go up onto the wall, which is surprising given you have to get down into so many avenues on Subway that it makes itself such a great spot for C4 to be so effective and so strong.
For sure. As we jump into round number 2. Let's see what the Raptors' offensive attack looks like.
So they did get an opposite spawn, it looks like. So they are on the north half of the map versus it was for Mayhem who were on the south. So we might be able to get to see an early contact from Mono and Soldier Z out here on the north stairs. Great shot by VR Marksman to take on Mono and secure that north stair objective.
Yeah, first crucial kill for them, opening up this north approach. Utility does come out from James, maybe 5 seconds too short there. Very good spot there, but the offense just hadn't pushed up yet.
Ooh, another one to come over the top, but it's going to be just shy. James lobs a second grenade up and almost got it over that wall there.
And while this southern push has been coming out as Rypick and Def Redux make it outside up the south stairs. But looks like Defilade has pushed into the catwalk and is going to find himself a Tiger Striker. Good pick up there, and now he's coming out looking for more maybe.
It's a huge risk-reward play when you get that far down that catwalk. It's you just hope that you're looking the right way and you see him at the right time. And it worked out, and it came out, on top in that one. But it brings it to a 4-4 across the board now. Raptors and Mayhem for people up.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see Defilade swing out some more on a flank. He has pushed up, looting the dead body. Maybe he'll continue pushing.
Meanwhile, we do have James looking down north. There's Soldier Z's hiding behind the trash can here at the end. There's gunshots coming out. I'm not sure that James may have seen him cross. Now Marksman taking some shots down here towards James' directions. They're playing kind of, I'll call it Onward peekaboo here, trying to find each other out in the ends here, fighting over the top of this trash can.
Yeah, they're all peeking
Raptors
and re-peeking and kind of hiding, and James there takes some shots. He's going to toss some utility now.
If Raptors can secure this north alleyway, that could be very, very dangerous for Mayhem at that point, as they're be able to push in mostly uncontested. They're going to have to start rotating around to get that covered.
Yeah, we also do have a push coming out from Rypick, who does catch Defilade. Def Redux as well, going to cross lasers with Wookiee very soon. Looking a nice little tucked angle there.
A smoke coming out from Rypick to obscure Cappy's position here. A very similar defense setup here. Oh, James almost gets picked up from behind. Wookie's going to pick up Def Redux as he almost takes out James on that angle.
You know, Rypick does find Cappy. Now it's just 2 on OBJ. Just 1 now with Wookie last man alive against 3 of Raptors crashing back in. He's looking for Rypick. Can't get it. Rypick seals the deal. Takes another round for Raptors.
Looks like Wookie may have been trying to throw a grenade there and it went down, which ended up picking up the after-hour kill.
Yeah, Martyrdom nade. Always love those.
Was a great trade-off, and I think Raptors came out just fighting and strong all the way across the board there. They did take on, you know, the early loss there within the catwalk area, but and just some key picks that came out and working together to capitalize on the moment allowed them to pull up, you know, 2 ahead here coming into Subway.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, it's pretty rare that Mayhem lose points on Subway, so they've got to find themselves and bring it back. But here's the thing, right? Mayhem play this map so often that they obviously have tendencies, and Raptors maybe have been studying it and trying to identify patterns that they can exploit. And we got to point out also that James's, you know, utility hasn't been landing today. Usually that's about a kill a round on several rounds, you know, and today so far they just haven't been hitting their mark.
That's exactly right. It's been about a half a second off, or, you know, half inch short. I mean, all of the ideas are right there, but it's just it's the degrees of whatever it might be, Kevin Bacon, or you call it.
Looks like we're jumping back into round 3 as we do switch OBJs now and go downstairs to that double down basement OBJ.
That's right, and it'll be an interesting split down here across the board. Seeing how Raptors kind of sets this up. Now there are 3 different bottlenecks that exist here, so I heavily expect that we'll see a C4 or at least 1 or 2 of them as they're going through this process here and setting them up.
We have Rypick, the most forward defender here, pushing into this north stairs exit effectively and watching it deflate. Gonna be challenging that. Now, this is gonna be a crucial first pick, I think.
I mean, it would be such a great spot for Rypick too. I mean, he just gets all the advantages down there whenever he takes that peek.
Well, we got Wookie in the south L of the middle platform. And we've got Mono and James downstairs. Mono, Cappy, and James all downstairs. With the hesitancy that we're seeing Defilade play with in the north stairs, perhaps he's ready for that spot.
Could be, or he's aware that that is some kind of a tendency, because normally we would see a pretty hard push down. One of the C4s is exploded down below. It was VR Marksman, blew it up inside the hallway, baited in by Mono, who then took the peek and ended up pulling away with the trade out on that one, taking him down to take command of that tunnel.
Rypick does get Defilade, despite the caution Defilade had. It just didn't pay off, and now Rypick in a nice spot to potentially spot out Wookie pushing the middle platform soon.
I wonder if Wookie knows that Defilade went down. I mean, obviously it's disappeared from the tablet, but he has to, I would assume, be aware that that area would be compromised on some level and may take a different path out.
Soldiers with a nice kill and a second one as he picks up Mono as well with a nice refrag. Shuts down that push from the tunnel.
Just all the way across the board, there's a couple of them, like Soldier Z, Marksman, Rypick, just having bang-on games here, only a couple rounds in and collecting a number.
Rypick just barely missing Wookiee, I think, or maybe he spotted him and hasn't taken the shot yet. I don't know where exactly he's looking, but they're very close to spotting each other. He does spot him. Wookiee somehow survives as Rypick runs out of ammo. Wookiee now knows he's there, but does he know where? Meanwhile, James and Soldiers are just inches away.
There's been a number of utility down here. James is trying to flesh out Soldier Z and figure out he's throwing, I think, flashes and frags every which direction. Soldier Z holding behind that pillar, and I don't think was affected by any of it. Eventually picks up James, who goes to take the initial peek after having the smoke out behind him.
Yeah, Rypick now with a nice reposition. Wookiee's still waiting for any push. Rypick is going to push. This might walk right into Wookiee's line as he's waiting for somebody to make this kind of move. And there it is. Wookiee is able to pick off Rypick. Now Wookiee's going to rotate, possibly go downstairs, but Soldiers has been just shutting down the downstairs push so far.
We'll have to see how it kind of plays out. I mean, there's 2 minutes, 20 seconds left really across the board. Wookiee's got to make a pretty decent play. Although it is only a 2-on-1, but those stairs are so brutal to come down, and to run all the way around at this point would be such a long run.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And we do know that one C4 is blown, so I think it's safe to assume that one of these other entryways is a trap, and we'll have to see if that comes into play. Maybe Wookiee disables it and gives away his position, but it's gonna be tough. He's gotta use some utility to split this fight. And he tosses a smoke there. It's gonna block vision for a bit of Tiger there, not too much. Nice cross angles between these two.
I think it's very strong there if Wookiee does rotate, but we still technically have one C4 that could still be in play somewhere as well.
Yeah, we're seeing Wookiee make a long rotation to the basement, and now it's the right time as Soldiers has dropped off from that basement angle to defend OBJ, and he could, Wookiee could find himself the first kill, and then it's a 1v1 where anything can happen.
Especially coming in from that angle. I mean, if you had an optimal angle coming down here at this objective, but he is starting to run out of time. He's got a minute left, just more than enough time to complete the rotation, but he's going to have to hustle quietly. It's just oxymoron at best. Tiger is watching this long line here all the way across, and he will pick up Wookiee.
Yep.
Putting him 3-0 onto the board, Subway against Mayhem.
Yeah, Wookiee was walking into a trap. Once they identified that it was taking too long for that rotation, they knew. Tiger started looking towards the basement exit, and that was it. Too many angles to clear, and good defense from Raptors there.
The discipline that Raptors is showing in their defense is really something that is what you would hope to see out of a top tier team. You know, just that patience, you know, when they have 3 up, not to get peaky. When you look at their lasers all the way across, they're stable, they're steady, they're not moving, they're not looking. It's just they know what their job is, and they're holding that job with their tablet, waiting for something to change. And then at that point, I would assume they would move appropriately.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of these defensive holds. They're also pushing just enough to catch Mayhem by surprise. With Rypick with that first kill into Defilade was crucial. Soldiers, though, I think with a 3-piece down, defending that subway at the basement exit there, surprised them. They just weren't able to get that refrag onto him, which was crucial there, and they kind of all started coming through that way. So played out really well for Raptors, and now Mayhem have to dig themselves out of this hole that they're now in.
I think you know, it's not shut out for them. I mean, they've come back from situations just like this, so I mean, we absolutely could see, I mean, even get out to a 3-3 here. James had a lot of great grenade throws that round, but just none of them found Soldier Z, and his spot down there was just so strong. He did such a great job shutting that down. Let's see if they can do that from the opposite.
Yeah, this is a crucial defensive round for them, as this will define the map right here. They're down 3-0, and they've got to get this round. So let's see what the setup is going to look like. We're seeing some C4 being tossed out into the north stairs. We have James and Mono both looking like At least James looking like he's going to push towards that basement exit. Mono defending the south stairs. Pretty reserved setup overall. And we'll have to see if Raptors are ready for it.
It's an interesting one on this. I kind of think to some early matches I've seen of Mayhem and the defense. I mean, usually James is the one on objective, is kind of the last fallback individual. Oddly enough, he's one of the more pushed out ones on this particular objective. Pushed all the way out into that tunnel. I'm assuming armed with some C4 out there to blow it up.
Yeah, I remember watching, I think it was actually Mayhem versus Raptors last time, James with some fantastic physics-defying grenades down this hallway here, kind of just bouncing off of walls and landing at that corner. So I imagine he has some prepped utility ready for that corner, anybody to peek it. But let's see if Raptors have that memory from the last time they played James here.
We'll have to see. It looks like Raptors are starting to spin towards position. We have a couple underneath, couple on top as they're kind of moving their direction there. A 3-0 on Subway. I mean, it's 4 minutes left here, and we have Raptors have a moment to clutch this as a shutout.
Yeah, for sure, and that's huge. I mean, again, Mayhem have some ridiculous win percentage of this map, and taking that away from them, that's huge. Not just on this match, but historically as well.
Absolutely, this is their book and their Bible in which they live by, is Subway. Marksman's making some footsteps under here. It looks like he's trying to bait out perhaps a C4, just given he was just strafing back and forth to generate those footsteps. And whoever has that C4 over there, if there is one, it's not biting. James may have it. If he threw a grenade, it came up way short in front of that box. It would have been completely ineffective had anybody even been there.
Yeah, definitely don't think that got the distance he intended, and pretty uncharacteristic. We're seeing a few botched grenades from James that aren't just mistimed and, off. I wonder if that is affecting him somehow, tracking or some other external factor there at play.
It's hard to say, although we do have Tiger Striker coming down the south stairs. It looks like he's going to try to sneak up here on Mono, backed up by Def Redux.
And there's a fantastic grenade, just as we called him out, but Mono also going to find one on the south stairs. That was a great grenade, bounced off a wall, but they are going to get that res. Marksman with a quick swing, going to get that refrag as well. Crucial plays.
It's a great shot from Marksman today. His aim is on point. It's on fire. Def Redux coming around behind. He's going to see Mono pick it up from behind. Definitely he's going to pick up Def Redux, but also pick up VR Marksman.
Def with the double. Wow.
Like
yeah, now Mayhem with the 3-2 advantage here. They know that Soldiers is down here. They're trying to land those shots. That's a tough one. Soldiers in a tough position here with multiple lasers potentially about to line up on him. He's got to find this first pick. And he needs distraction in the north.
He does. It'd be a great time for Rypick to start making some noise and have him start to pay attention to him, but he could also kind of creep on down somewhat silently because they're all looking that direction, not necessarily at the staircase.
Yeah, they are not really paying attention to the north. They know that Soldiers is there. Deflated with some quick peeks there. Rypick looks to be dropping off to the south, maybe. Soldiers spots Deflate. Can't land the shots, though.
That's probably been 2 reloads for Soldier Z at this point. I'm not sure if he's looking for ammo or he's looking for his tablet. They tend to run away from you occasionally.
Rypick has joined up in the south to support Soldiers here. This is going to be a south to north push here.
Big peek by Rypick. Fortunately, not swinging out in front of any of the lasers there. They have 1:14 seconds left. 3 Mayhem, 2 Raptors. Rypick trying to help identify where everyone is camping out at. Meanwhile, you've got Soldier Z looking down towards the division. Cappy definitely comes all the way out. Does pick up Soldier Z.
Wow. What a peek from Defilade.
Did definitely just get 4 or 5?
He definitely got 4. Mono did get 1, so
Mono did
definitely
get
only
1.
got 4.
That was almost the ace. 2 sets of 2 in there, and the final one finally traded. Uh, Fortunate timing.
That was an amazing play by Defilade with a perfectly timed peek. I wonder if he heard soldiers or he just flew off that subway platform there, took him out, swung around, took out Rypick. Great play there. And on the heels of that, Mayhem get their first point.
I think he must have heard Rypick out there. Rypick was moving an awful lot left and right. Was likely making footsteps, and they would have been close enough to where it would have told him that somebody else was on the stairs. And if they had an accurate count, which I would assume they did, that may have caused the rotation. But it was a heavy rotation from Deflate. Something tipped him.
Yeah, for sure. Dare I say it, comeback time?
I mean, the next objective,
Yeah.
it's going to be spicy. It's historically, and given that James, so it's fitting, James just got, his first grenade kill, and then of course, the next objective is North Alley, which is historically one of their strongest objectives. So it's going to be interesting to see, and it'll be the deciding factor on whether or not, but it could bring it, to a, really probably a, I mean, if they were to cap it, I mean, even a trade out 1-1, we could see a 3-3 after North Stairs offense defense, or Raptors could take North Stairs and then just close it out, and it'd be just a decisive they got it.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle of the North and who can win the North, so we'll have to see. James prepping the utility, getting ready to toss it. First bits of utility out. It's actually going to be a smoke there. Marksman with the flash, though. Swings out, not going to find anybody. Gonna continue pushing. Tosses another great frag, possibly.
Is that a frag? That's
it's
deadly.
Gonna get 2. Wow.
It does pick up 2.
And the confirms. Wow.
That's magic is gonna have to happen. James throwing a grenade out. He does pick up PR Marksman. He threw it like in his pocket.
Wow, that was another great grenade. Now he's going to challenge FG at this corner. They're going to challenge each other, and they're going to trade. Leaving just 2 of Mayhem now alive against 3 of Raptors, but the North is fully secure.
Be interesting, because theoretically, Raptors don't know that that was a trade. They have no way of knowing that that happened, so they have to now expect that North is compromised, which will leave Rypick back in the back. Tiger Striker likely where he is, and it's going to bring a battle in. And do we get a is Deflate going to rotate around and try to go kind of survey what happened up north?
Yeah, I think he is. And man, if James had gotten the refrag onto Marksman before he was able to confirm both of those grenade kills, this would be a different round. We'd be looking at 4 of Mayhem up with North secure. A totally different kind of round.
It'd be a completely different game right now. I think part of it, James likely had pulled the pin and he had set the grenade, so he couldn't exactly throw it and get on out there.
True.
So at that point, but what a different game it'd be right now. But, 2v3, and they did get an accurate kill count there, so definitely walking through. The Mayhem should know what's happened. Raptors have to just assume at this point. But Raptors are in a really good spot. They could secure this win. Mayhem's got some magic to work up on their end.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Wookie is pushing the south now. He's got to deal with this track here. He tosses a smoke, it looks like. Not going to be far enough. Obscures a decent amount of vision, but he still has to deal with Def Redux, which is such a hard spot to clear. I mean, it's just dark, far away, and you just never... It seems like that tunnel just sucks you in.
It's definitely never ending, and even with the smoke, Def Redux has the better vision on Wookie than Wookie will have on Def Redux. He does make it across.
But Wookie just runs across, but Def with a great rotation.
is only a downed. So he will be able to call it out. And the problem with being that far away is that it may be difficult to hear.
Yeah, now Deflate is in a tough position. He is alone pushing this north staircase. Has a little bit of time to rotate, but not that rotating will help him much. If Tiger peeks it, that could be his first kill, but Rypick also just trained on those stairs. We saw the last time Rypick and Deflate faced off on the north stairs, it went the way of Rypick. We'll have to see if that changes this time.
Well, as long as Tiger Striker doesn't peek, the advantage will go to Rypick sitting all the way in the back. Maybe he just saw his feet? He did. And that's it. We have our first map down. 4-1 Raptors pulling that away with a W on Mayhem on Subway. Finally, VRML.
That was just fantastic. I mean, great plays from Raptors there. Great work all in all to secure them that win. The first 2 rounds were dominant.
It was great. I mean, really, the scoreboard shows it, right? I mean, we got Rypick with 7 kills. We have Marksman with 6 kills. Soldier Z with 5. It's just, they just had some on-fire rounds, a couple of very strong moments all the way across the board, and the defense just, it worked, and the timing was where it should be.
Yeah, 100%. We'll have to see where Raptors choose to take us next. I'm going to do a quick little rejigger here on my end, see if we can get some game comms audio back in. Always miss hearing what these teams are talking about.
Well, I'm sure that it'll be much more colorful audio, hopefully, in this next map here, whatever they happen to choose.
Where do you think Raptors might want to take us after that Subway win? We have Snow Peak and Suburbia off the table. I wonder if they'll choose to take us to Downfall or maybe Quarantine.
So I think they'll end up at Quarantine if I had to guess. So I think that would be my initial knee-jerk reaction. Subway being, a strong map for them, but Quarantine, they have played it, I believe, 8 times so far this season, out of which they have won 8 of them. And if my math is correct, 8 out of 8 makes 100% win ratio on it. So I would expect to see a Quarantine. Well,
you know what?
Of course.
Remember that conversation we had earlier in this game about USS Quest? Well, it's coming out to play. They are just rehosting on USS Quest. So Raptors, wow, despite what the stats are saying, are choosing to go to the weakness of Mayhem. I mean, they just beat Mayhem at their strongest map, and now they're going to take Mayhem on what is potentially their weakest map. So this is going to be interesting.
What a choice. I can't even, I don't even know what to say. I can't even be mad about that. That's I think that's a great play by Raptors, and to throw it for a loop, and especially in a situation where they have the upper hand, it's a safe pick given they won the first map. I think it's a great selection. Though I am very surprised.
It is definitely a shocker, but I mean, they
so they we may have lost your audio there for a second, but they really, I think they made a very solid choice here, and it would be interesting to see exactly how it goes. But within Quest, I have to say, from a custom map perspective, Quest is easily one of the more beautiful custom maps that we have. Just, I mean, it's so fun that it's set within within a bathroom, right? So I mean, it's a battleship floating in a bathtub kind of an idea.
Yeah, it is one of the more unique maps, and we can let's give some eyes to our audience who may not have seen this map. It is a spaceship, or not a spaceship, sorry, an aircraft carrier in a bathtub. And it's colorful. It's got containers. And it's got a couple fighter jets.
It does. And even if you look into the tub itself, so some of the attention to detail is fantastic. You can actually see the drain through the water on the inside of the tub. I mean, just really great attention to detail, I think, is made by, I don't want to get it wrong because
Evo.
It was Evo. That's what I wanted to
Yes.
say, but I didn't want to get it wrong.
Well, he does have his name plastered in every container, so he wants to make sure we do not forget.
That's right. It's got a. Oh, I guess it is plastered all over the place. I actually didn't even notice that until you said it.
And good news, we have game audio back, so we can hear the comms, as it's going to be a fast-paced map, so we'll have to see what these teams are talking about. This is going to be the far objective. That is probably the hardest one to defend. Lots of smokes piling in from Raptors. They know that they can try to choke out the defense here and go for a cap here, maybe. Utility coming out. What a great frag. Gonna catch FG soldiers. Another one gonna trigger the C4 on Wookiee and take him out.
Was he carrying that on his chest or was that on the ground?
I believe it was on his ground.
Yeah. They are going to get the revive up. That's going to get by Soldier Z, bringing Marksman back into the fight. Soldier Z is going to take the shot over the top of there, pick up James on objective. Great shot from Soldier Z.
And now they've lost coverage on front side of OBJ. This is going to make things really hard. Cappy's the only one defending. One smoke here could just prevent them from having eyes on OBJ. Marksman is pushing up slowly to get on the west side of OBJ now.
Ano
gonna find
shot
one.
down the lane. Great shot to shut that down. Now the last two, it looks like we do have Def. It's on a flanking run, but Marksman running up this rail here is gonna have a shot at Cappy. Coming up, you can see him through the crack. It's gonna be a trade.
Rypig is gonna find Deflate all the way in the back. There was a lane there for a cap, but they don't need it. They take that round in dominant fashion with some very fast pushes there.
Absolutely. I think the early smokes did a good job helping him get into position. I think the cap would have been tough because I think I counted probably 5 smokes coming out in the opening. They may not have had a ton of others. He had 5 smokes. He had 1 grenade. I mean, they may have had a point or 2 left for, flash or something of that nature, but there may not have been another smoke there.
It's a good point. They did toss a lot of smoke, so it's possible that they were all out of utility at that point. But this is going to be their MO on this map. They are going to want to push hard, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I think we will likely see in their next attack round, we'll likely see something similar, and they may even be a little bit offensively defense even, and kind of push up and take over the middle of that map, because you can get right in front of those that barrier wall that James was against and defend it from the outside in. It does give you a couple of additional lines, but you have to be a bit more aggressive on the onset. So within that, it'd be interesting to see if we have, coming across the board from Raptors, kind of moving up into that area. Now from the Mayhem perspective, James has now landed 2 grenades that have downed and 1 that has fatally taken somebody out and landed in their pocket, I think, as I said earlier. So it's kind of, it'd be interesting to see, as this is also a very susceptible objective to grenades, because the positions you can play to defend it are fairly minimal.
Yeah, that's a good point. You've got to push on defense on this OBJ, I think, because it's just, if you don't get on the front side of OBJ, then you are leaving yourself open.
100%. We're going to get it set up here. 6 minutes coming up here on the clock. Raptor Mayhem, Raptor 1, Mayhem 0. And Mayhem has a lot of answering to do and pushing back on this Raptor defense. Some early smokes coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Is that 6?
That was a
Christmas
lot
theme too.
Of utility.
Holy cow. And they're all in the center, which is an interesting one. It puts Rypick out there.
Yeah, they push him up as they've done all night long. Rypick playing the most forward defensive spots. He's on the front side of OBJ. Tiger as well, sort of in front of OBJ too. So they do not want to let this Mayhem defense get behind them effectively. So Rypick spot, probably going to surprise them. MAYHEM holding off, waiting for any further pushes, but that's not what Raptors are trying to do here. They just wanted to use that smoke to get forward.
And just get one forward, it seems, as well. Everybody else kind of spanned out. Tiger's still sitting behind Sandbag, Soldier Z, Marksman, all kind of laying across the board here and looking for different angles that they can get onto this MAYHEM offense. Wookie's going to pick up Rye Pick, laying underneath the green cargo container, opening up that forward position, allowing MAYHEM to now move forward.
That's a huge pickup. He's trying to find a second one. He can't land the shots. Tight angle.
In the middle. Objective side looking in towards.
Ooh, that's a big
Calls
grenade
it
coming
out.
all the way across. It did go into the container, but it was ineffective as nobody was there. Great throw from James.
Wookie, though, gonna find that kill onto Tiger, killing both of their forward defenders. Def now does find a kill of his own. No defenders forward on OBJ anymore. FG left to remain defending OBJ. Marksman for support as well. But a couple smokes here could do a lot of damage on these angles.
I think the critical hold at this point is VR Marksman has the biggest line approaching onto objective here. They have to cross his view in order to get up without a smoke. I mean, it's going to be, well, there's that smoke, but it's going to be a little far. Flash coming high over top. Def Redux crossing into the back here, trying to move forward onto this MAYHEM attacking force. Wookie and Def Redux trading long lines here. I don't believe either of them landed. I didn't see either of them heal.
Hold the middle, guys. Hold the middle. I'm going right alley.
Lots of comms coming in. James calls it in that he's going to push towards Red Alley. They're going to hold that middle line there. They're just playing this patiently here. They are not trying to get over aggressive. They're trying to stay coordinated despite it being a small map. Got that middle secured.
See, and it is something that Raptors had backed out, and they're starting to suspect as you see Marksman kind of teetering back and forth between looking towards the alley. Great pickup by Def Redux there, picking up mono. It is, yeah, they're suspicious of that push out there on the edge. I don't know if they heard James or there was a comms call out or just time.
Yeah, 3v3, a little bit of a lull in action now. Cappy in the middle, Wookie on the right side. James trying to get behind them slowly. If he can get undetected and get into a position to toss some utility, it could be pretty deadly for Raptors.
It could be. And Def, I mean, unfortunately for Wookie, Wookie knew where Def was, but he doesn't know where Def is now, which he has completely moved out of the different positions. So he's going to have to go re-find Def. And almost walk across a line here. Smoke coming out to where Def was, and that smoke would have smoked him out, but Def has moved.
Yeah, they need to distract Marksman here so that James can make this push. Marksman and James does get the distraction. Marksman drops that angle. Now it goes for a peek. Can't see James quite yet. A lot more utility coming out. They've got to keep all the focus on that right side.
Just rolled over the 2-minute mark. Marksman coming around the corner. Ooh, James pulls out the trade. Thank goodness for the probably the cover. I imagine Marksman looked like he did take the shots that direction, but it likely just hit the cylinder wall, whatever. And now we've got that utility coming out from the side.
Yeah, Def trying to defend that backside. Soldiers here trying to defend the front side. Cappy very close to OBJ. If they lose Soldiers, this could be deadly. Wookie catching up with James now to reinforce. And Soldiers and Cappy trade. Now Def has to rotate back. Wookie with the long angle watching it. Can they pick him? Wookie drops off that angle. Oh, boy.
He's going to get him back up. We're going to bring this back to a 2v2. He's going to be able to get that revive in there because he was only downed. 2v2. We've got a minute left. Wookie and James versus Def and Soldier Z. Raptor MAYHEM 1-0.
His feet. I think I saw his feet. All right, I'm going this way.
Wookie and James patiently communicating here, talking out their thoughts, not rushing this at all. And Wookie with that first kill onto Soldiers. Now it's a 2v1. Def, they know where Def exactly is. They've got to circle him and pinch him, which is what they're trying to do.
Ooh, and a reload happened. You heard a click come out of Def Redux. Quick reload, ducks back down, going to the right side. He does pick up Wookie. Now he's got to go hunt down the remainder. He's leaving objective.
30 seconds left. Oh, man, James has to push this quickly. He can find an exposed Def if he does, because Def is not looking that way at all.
He can. I think the problem is if Def happens to fall back, which he did not, but James didn't have a way up. He would have had to take a long way for a cap. We've got
Yeah.
a 1-1.
Whew. That was well played by Mayhem there to cause just enough distraction to get behind them and make the push from the backside. I mean, really well coordinated by them, you know, to do that play. And they lost a couple here and there, but what kicked it all off was killing Rypick early. Because if they left Rypick to sit there, that could have been pretty deadly, because I think he would have surprised at least one or two of them and slowed down that middle push, dwindled their numbers.
Absolutely. And even one at that point could have been a very dangerous swing. I mean, that would have been a different round had he picked up even one out there. And I think as he's laying underneath, I mean, I think his feet just swung out right in front of Wookiee as he was looking underneath that doorway, and it caught Wookiee, which, you know, of course, at that point he took the shot and just shut that down. But otherwise, I absolutely agree. He was in a dangerous spot that I wouldn't check whenever I'm walking through the middle area.
Yeah, Wookiee, I think from, where was it? It was below the crane, right near the red lane, that he was able to kind of spot Rypick prone. It was just a great angle. Lucky, probably, but sometimes luck is all you need to shift the tides in a round.
100%. I frequently say I'd rather be lucky than good, almost any day. So what do you think at this point here? We're going to end up probably moving inward on the ship because all the other objectives aren't as capable. Do you think we're going to see that same aggression on Raptors coming out into this round here?
It's a good question. I mean, I think they're going to want to. I think they're going to want to go for a cap at some point here and just pile up the lead, play the aggression.
I think absolutely. I wonder if we'll see another like barrage of smokes with, you know, 5 or 6 smokes coming out. It's actually kind of a fun look, but it is a lot of smokes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's a white one this time too. I would think that James throws one off the ship. It is going to clear up the smoke on objective. They are piled pretty tightly here onto objective. One smoke coming back in here, reinforcing one of the smokes in the middle.
Utility coming out from James. That was a very close grenade onto Tiger. Just a few feet far. Here's another one coming in. This might be good to find 2, but finds 1.
I wish some days that I had like the same grenade throwing ability as some of the people in the league, and maybe specifically James. But it's amazing. Ooh, C4 goes off, does not find anybody.
Cappy taking shots from Def Redux. Tight angle, James with a follow-up frag right onto where Def is. It's gonna find him.
It's 2. Oh wow! What a chuck!
That was a beautiful grenade. That just, he heard the shots, knew where it was. Heatseeker on the way. You're dead.
That's a big old rainbow toss too. It didn't roll. It just kind of went right into his pocket there. I was surprised it only downed him at that point. But we'll see. Great throw by James. Apparently his arm has warmed up a little bit from the subway round.
Yeah, he's got all the room in the world now. No tunnels, just throw him high, you know?
Maybe that's the secret. You got to have more space. We do look like we might see Marksman kind of using this angle here on this ramp, and it may give him a perspective on Mono underneath. Oh, James jumping down into the whatever that is, the trough on the side. That word. James is going to crawl out, trying to get a view on VR Marksman here. Just kind of both scoping up and down. This is like a repeat of North Alley in Subway, taking peeks and trying to peek each other. Flash comes out over the top from Tiger Striker. That probably was effective, at least a Cappy. James does pick up VR Marksman. Tiger Striker gained a little bit of ground moving forward and can see objective, but will fall back.
Meanwhile, over at red lane, Wookiee and Soldiers very close to each other, but Rypic is going to be the one doing damage. Finds 2 with this long angle. Tiger finds another, leaving just 2 of Mayhem. 1 away from OBJ. Wookiee gonna find Soldiers there. Tiger gonna get James. Now OBJ is open. Rypic rushing in.
It's wide open.
Wookiee has to
and
crash
Wookiee's,
back.
He has to crash back. He might have just checked his tablet. He was going one way and just flipped around and turned. He's running. They're gonna catch him in the cross. Maybe. I would have done the exact same thing, Wookiee. I'd have just run. It didn't matter. Better 1 point than 2. What a great cross-up, though, from Rypic and Tiger Striker there at the end. Just holding the objective, securing the 1 point, now brings them up 2-1.
Yeah, that was a great couple kills there by Rypic. He kind of just shut down their OBJ side defense. I mean, they were looking pretty strong. They were holding it down, but they got a little antsy maybe. I couldn't quite catch how Rypic found those angles, but man, that was a close round there. So Mayhem, Mayhem aren't completely unprepared on this map, despite it not being one of their strongest ones. They're definitely here, and perhaps, it's been a season. We've had 15 weeks. I think at least half of those have had this map in it. So some familiarity builds up over that course of that time, of course. And we saw finally some really good utility coming out of James. 2 grenades, one of them which got a kill, the other one only a down. Man, I want to see more of those.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think the big thing has been interesting is that all the wins so far, so we're at 2-1 Raptors Mayhem. All the points have come off of Marsoc. We haven't seen a Volk win yet.
I think that's part of the nature of this map. It's just such an aggressive attacker mindset map. And both of these teams aren't teams that flank. They're not teams that, play very forward defenses. So I think that's part of the factor there. I think the defenses that we see winning are the ones that are very aggressive. So might be a factor there.
It very well could be. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how the answer happens here. It'd be interesting to see another prescriptive attack come in, and that's probably the biggest difference between Raptors and Mayhem, is that Raptors have kind of that unbridled rush, and Mayhem has that prescriptive attack as kind of their signature plays. They kind of get to see those both play out, and even though they can do the opposite, but it's interesting to watch those two kind of develop side by side.
We've got some early angles being taken up by Raptors, very long angles to kind of try to trap the offense. The offense will need to smoke these out to have any shot at crossing. We saw some shots taken by James onto Rypic early. Didn't quite land. Rypic falls off that angle. Meanwhile, over in the red lane, we've got a 2-man push. Looks like maybe just a 1-man push coming in. Some smoke coming out.
Over here. Yeah, smoke coming out, looks like from Deflate. There was 2. Wookiee was there with Deflate. Soldier Z rotated out, tried to get a review of that red lane. And he's going to completely fall out. A grenade's going to come over the top. Ooh. But that red lane's going to sit, and that's going to be a slow development there from Deflate and Soldier Z dancing along as they battle it out.
Rypic actually smokes out Def Redix's angle, unfortunately. And more smokes are going to roll in from the offense now. Cause a little bit more panic.
I have to say, that smoke, whoever threw it on objective, that smoke sucks. That blocks a lot of Tiger's view. Def has to deal with the noise coming out of it. He won't be able to hear a ton. It's a great throw, whoever put that one out there.
Rypic pushes up, finds Cappy, now looking to push up a little bit more. Take shots, looking for Mono next. He sees him, can't quite land the shots. James needs to help push and get this refrag. They got to pinch him. But James taking shots of his own.
Rypic does down Mono. Mono should be able to call it out there, giving James the advantage.
James being pinched by Def and Rypic here, as well as Soldiers there with a huge long angle, leaving it just 1.5 v5. Rypic gonna push the advantage, not gonna confirm Mono, but he might get behind Wookiee. Mono calls it out. That's gonna be the end of him.
A 1v5. how I said that they were all Marsoc wins. Wookie has some work to do in order to prove me right. Otherwise, Raptors are going to pull away this Volk win, and it's going to move it out to a 3-1.
Yeah, Rypick is clearing out most of the map right now. They know the kill count. They know exactly what they're dealing with. And once he identifies that the last attacker's in the red lane, he is going to flank, I'm sure. And then he's going to be in a Raptor sandwich between Soldiers, Tiger, and Rypick. But maybe he's going to back out of there, which is the smart play. If he can get a pick onto Rypick, that's going to help his odds a bit. But still going to be tough.
It's gonna be a lot of work for Wookie going forward here. But Rypick, I think, is the first step of trying to mount any kind of an offense on a 1v5. Rypick did see him. And that's gonna be picked up. Now we've got a 3-1 Raptor and Mayhem.
Raptors are quickly running away with the points here. Mayhem, man, they're on the verge of losing this match entirely. And they've got to be aggressive here. I mean, I don't know. They've got to go for a cap if I'm thinking, or I guess they're on defense. They got to win this defense and then go for cap. They're clearly at a disadvantage on this map. They need to pull out some straws and be unpredictable to shift the tide here. But oh, man, that round there was so dominant for Raptors. Huge, long angles, just not enough utility to block it out. They trapped them, didn't allow refrags to happen. Even with Rypick pushing up so forward, he had so much support from his backside defenders that he wasn't alone at all.
Absolutely, and I think that was, even evident mostly around, if you kind of think when James was trying to make a move onto Rypick, even with the audio support of Mono, Soldier Z came from almost the back half of the map, found a seam, brought James down, so Rypick wasn't even exposed when it happened, but of course, James can't watch both lanes at the same time.
Right.
Forward all the way to the back, and it was a great move by Soldier Z to support Rypick, and I think that's the big difference. Though Rypick's got 8 kills, I think, right now. He's a dominant force for the Raptors at the moment, so that's got to be answered to as well, and they've got to find him early.
Yeah, absolutely. That helped them out the round that they won. They've got to do it again. And Rypick, despite being one of the newer additions on this Raptors team, has been a dominant force for them. So let's ride along with him at the beginning of this round.
Stay off the middle for 2 minutes. Stay off the middle for 2 minutes.
I love right along. They're the best.
56-33. Let's go.
Get in the height. Let's go.
Sit back. In the container if you're gonna play it. What you got there? Nothing. I'm just holding. All right, just sit and hold an angle.
Rypick with a lot of comms there, telling the team to just hold back. They know they've got the advantage. They should play this safe. They cannot take unnecessary risk. They're going to just poke and prod, get some intel. And also, he said, sit in a container. That's for the well-seen, well-known James nades. If you're in a container, your odds of getting taken down by nade are, of course, significantly less. So that's going to be their counter for now. Let them use that utility.
I think we did, however, it's great and sound advice. We have seen a grenade go into a container already. So it is not we'll say 100% plan. Great shot from Rypick. But it definitely improves your odds immensely as you have to thread a needle.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Rypick with the first kill, looking for a second onto Mono. He spots him, can't land the shots. Just a sliver of his head peeking. They know where he is. A nade comes in right on top of Rypick. Not going to land because he is in a container, of course.
It's a very intelligent call from Rypick to hide in a container as well. Smokes are coming back out. That's both the C4s now have gone out from the Mayhem sides. There's no more C4s in play at this point. Unless I miscounted.
Can't confirm. That's too small. Can't confirm.
Yeah, Rypick taking more shots in a gunfight with Mono, unable to hit it. Marksman might be the one to find Mono. Mono identifies that Marksman's there. Can't They neither can land the shots. Def, meanwhile, has breached onto red lane. Wookie and Def are going to trade. Meanwhile, on the other side, Tiger takes out James. It looks like leaving just 2 on OBJ. Tiger and Deflate going to trade, leaving just Mono on OBJ now with 3 Raptors to deal with. He finds 1, now just 2. Or actually 3 with the 1 pickup there. Marksman going to get behind him. Mono's in a lot of trouble here. He gets shot, seen from behind, taken out. And Raptors seal the deal on USS Quest. 4-1.
That is a 4-1 win. That also seals the map series as well for them, bringing both of those forward. You know, is a surprising map pick from Raptors. But obviously, someone did their homework and pulling out a 4-1 on, you know, on the USS Quest. Stellar choice from Raptors' perspective as well.
Yeah, I mean, they chose it for a reason. They took Mayhem to their strongest map and then to their weakest map, and they just were a dominant force on both. And, you know, they adapted, they adjusted, they knew the utility was coming, so they made an in-game adjustment to say, hey, hide in a container, right? Let those nades come in, which is great because we saw one land on top of Rypic, but that container saved him. And Rypic, like you said, just really good plays there. He ends up the day up. I missed the scoreboard, but he got a lot of kills. Let's go with that.
Rypic picked up 9 in that round, so he's 1 shy of a 10 power, but an absolute devastating force in USS Quest.
Yeah, and now we're gonna go to Bazaar from Mayhem. So mid-sized map, a little bit larger than both that we have seen so far. But this is a classic map, and we've seen Mayhem do really well on this map. We've seen Raptors do really well on this map, and we're going to start things off with a bang with the Kiat objective. So, oh my, this can swing either direction quickly.
I think this one's a matter of pride at this point. I mean, you kind of think you're in Mayhem's position. You know the match is over. You know the series is over. You have to decide what to do next beyond that, but at this point it's about maximizing really that differential as best you can to kind of move you into that spot. So they need to come out, you know, with a force and to answer for the first 2 maps in the series. So I expect Mayhem to come out firing in this, but on the flip side we got Raptors with something to prove, coming in and carrying this away with the 3 series and taking away the 3 match would say rematch, the tri-match. Try rematch.
Alright, one more, let's do it. One more. Let's get it.
No cap. Alright guys, 3 up on this one, just sacrifice your damn selves. 3 up, run to objective.
Tablet's
okay?
open. Tablet's always open. Let's go. Let's get it.
Lots of comms, lots of excitement from the Raptors side. They know what's on the line here. They want to get one more. They don't want to give up any cap, so they're going to play this one smart. On the Mayhem side, we've got a pretty strong west push, but they're going to run into Rypic very soon, who pushes up aggressively to that red truck. But it's actually going to be Soldiers with a long angle finding the first pick onto Wookie. Early positioning from both of these players.
It's such an aggressive position from Rypic. I love it, but it's so far out there. It's great.
Yeah, Soldiers is going to drop off that angle, so Cappy is going to be looking for him. Actually, no, he's going to fall back onto the angle and finds a second in Cappy. Can he find a third? And definitely now peeking the same corner. Rypic going to push his advantage a little bit and try to get a little more forward and pinch them. Definitely, though, looks like he's going to rotate off, get into the courtyard, avoid that angle that they just lost 2 players to. They can't leave Rypic here. They've got to deal with him sooner or later.
Well, I don't think they know that Rypic's there yet. Rypic hasn't taken a shot. They were taken out by Soldier Z, but that could be dangerous in the back end if he gets to scoop up from behind. They'll have to recognize it beforehand, or I mean, this could swing out to, you know, a 5-1 really quickly.
Yeah, definitely. It's slowly sneaking up here. Soldiers is making a lot of noise. Rypick, meanwhile, is swinging on the backside. Gonna run into Joker any second. He does. And Joker gets that flank protection kill. Huge pickup first to prevent them from having a defender get behind him.
Soldier Z is watching that line, which may be to his detriment if it happens. It definitely comes around the corner.
He's gonna find another and deflate. Wow. Huge swing.
What a scoop from Soldier's perspective. It's a huge push. Last remaining up is going to be James here on the opposite.
We can't play against quest teams. They're our weakness.
Going to be a 4-on-1 opening
James
round.
with a little song there as he is the last one up and knows it. I wonder if he's gonna keep singing.
He occasionally does this. He kind of just hums to himself as he's going along.
He's kind of surprised to find no opposition here in the east, and he's gonna keep pushing. It is quite open here. It looks like looking at the mini map, we've got soldiers probably swinging around, assessing the damage, and maybe gonna come back into the north and meet James here, possibly. But let's check out the setup here. We've got Marksman hanging out on the backside of Kiat, as well as that's pretty much it, defending the backside right now. So that's the first pick that James is gonna need, and then the crash will begin from the defense.
Oddly enough, given the peakiness that's happening right now, and I'm surprised that this is such a drastic change from what we saw on Subway, there's a lot of movement happening from the Raptors defense. It doesn't feel set at the moment. And as a result, like Marksman could go to peek away, James theoretically could open a seam. Grenade comes out, just shy of Marksman. My goodness, but now he's announced where they are. Tiger Striker's going to come out and looking James' direction. I believe there was a gunshot that came out from James, and that call out's going to happen. And you can see all 4 Raptors are in motion.
Yeah, the flashes are coming out. Frags are coming out. They're trying to assault James here, but James is going to fall off. He finds one in Soldiers. He's looking for Tiger, but can't get the second kill. Raptors were hunting there.
They were. That was so many flashes that came. There's 5 flashes that came over the top to flash everybody in that alley.
I think
I love it.
You were talking about how they're playing very atypical, right, compared to the rest of the day, and I think that's because of the beast of an OBJ that we're dealing with. With Kiat defending, you just have to take that extra risk to mitigate getting capped on, and maybe it pays off, but at worst, you die and you don't give up the cap. Because of how frequently we see caps on this OBJ, I think they came in with the play to get aggressive, and if it pays out, it pays off. If it doesn't, they go away. They give up 1 point.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I think that that's exactly the aggression that we see, and it is working out for them so far. It would seem. I mean, you've got map 1, map 2 going on. That's working out very well for Raptors, and I think James, just kind of going out and just trying to pull down what he can. And had he stayed in that north alley, he would have been flashed 5 separate times. So made a smart play to be a little aggressive, move up into kind of that courtyard area. Didn't work out that time around, but maybe here in this next round we'll see something similar, and maybe it will. We'll see. We're going to come into it now. Raptors are going to mount their defense. Mayhem is going to mount its defense here of the center courtyard area. It'd be interesting to see if we get back to maybe that more typical or that set defense.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious what we're going to see from the Mayhem side. Definitely high energy on the Raptors side. Once again, as we tune into here, and we see a lot of energy, lots of early comms coming in from them. Looks like Mayhem are having 2 far east and far west, and 3 kind of holding down the middle of the bazaar. with Wookiee and Sky Joker playing the flanks. Wonder if either of them will get aggressive. Sky Joker just pushing his advantage a little bit further. Not going to really peek past this wall, it looks like. Although, maybe he's having some tech issues. Seems to be stuck.
That's an interesting kind of outside-in defense of this objective here. Having nobody based in the Kiot building proper. It gives nobody really for Def Redux is scanning the windows looking for someone, because that would be just a normal spot for at least one person to be within the building.
Yeah, he's on the back closest to Kiot. It's James.
Soldiers taking shots onto James, identifies that it is him, and a frag comes out from James, not gonna quite land. Here's another one that's gonna get Cappy. Oh, great throw into that staircase, tucked alley.
Phenomenal throw from Soldier Z there. Unfortunately, just downed him for Soldier Z, but great throw through the alley anyhow.
Yeah, definitely. Wookiee, though, with a nice angle, countering to protect James, and Cappy there finds himself a kill onto FG, and now Def is looking for a refrag. Wookiee's not going to hang out here any longer. He's going to fall back, rotate off that kill, get to a different spot.
And there's two lasers down that alley too. Marksman and Def both made a rotation in there to check out that alley. Fortunate for Wookiee that he did move out in the time that he did. In that meantime, Cappy is rotated into the building, so we actually have someone in center Kiot again.
Yeah, and Cappy is about to get taken out by Marksman. Marksman just barely missing those shots. Cappy getting shot from the other side as well from Rypick. He's just dancing through these defenders right now.
We're all tucked away at this point. I mean, we still have 3 minutes, we'll say 3.5 minutes left on the clock here. And there hasn't been a penetration yet of the center core or the center Kiot area. Not with the lack of attempt, but unfortunately just hasn't poked through quite yet. We still 5 Mayhem up, 3 Raptors. So far, a solid defense has been mounted from the Mayhem perspective. Smokes are starting to come out. I'm disappointed there's not, it's like 6 of them. It's only 4.
Yeah, those are good smokes, but they do have to, they've got to get the picks, right? With so many defenders up, it's going to be tough. James is going to push up, and they get the first pick. Marksman gets that kill. The smoke causes the panic. 3v4.
Yes, it was a great smoke, and they actually did throw out 2 more, so there were 6. Rypick threw it out on the right side. I'm not sure what caused the panic. They have 2 or 3 behind objective. James pushed out there, and that didn't work out, but this great smoke screen did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Marksman finds another undefilade on that east side. This Mayhem defense is slowly crumbling down. 3v3 now. We also have someone in the flank. Wookiee, though, has rotated back forward. Tries to find shots into Marksman. Can't quite land him. Def Redux, however, is behind him. If Def chooses to push that courtyard, could push on to Wookiee, but he's not. Marksman and Wookiee still trading shots.
Right now, I think Cappy is the only one backwards facing it of any kind. I mean, the back of the objective is wide open at the moment.
Yeah, Def Redux is just across the street, but Rypick clears out that last man defender on OBJ. Now Sky and Wookiee left. They've got to rotate, and these Raptors are in positions to pick him off as the rotations happen. The backside is very weak. Sky Joker trying to make a rotation. Might find an exposed Def Redux here. He does. He barely misses those shots. Def with the swing back. Sky Joker hides and tucks in a corner. Wookiee now trying to find that frag onto Def. Def, this is a 3-way fight. A frag comes out, gonna find Def
and
on
it does
the backside.
And to confirm with a C4. In a word,
Now.
overkill.
Now the front side, they're rotated, and Wookiee gets taken out by Rypick, and they're looking for more at Sky Joker. Sky, last man alive, trying to hold off this Raptors push. 2 left. Marksman going to the back. Rypick on the front. And Rypick gonna seal the deal with that kill. That was a crazy round.
Well, that was insane. It looked like at one point, it's for sure 5 up from the Mayhem perspective, and then all of a sudden they're down, they're back up, and they're bouncing around. And then a Sky Joker ending up in probably the only situation you never want to be in on Bazaar, and it's 1 up, middle of Kiot with facing more than 1. It's what a round from both teams. Great shots all the way across the board. Raptors does come up with the W, putting them 2 up here in this last and final map.
Yeah, I mean, the plays were crazy there, and I think Mayhem had a similar philosophy to Raptors. They wanted to be mobile. They wanted to, not be stationary anywhere, and it worked until that center push from Raptors. They had the smokes. They had the long angles. They weren't getting aggressive. They were just inducing panic into the set defense, and lucky for them, that front side was weak. Right? They only had the flanks watching in, so that smoke blocked a lot of vision for Mayhem, so it did its job, and they got the first couple picks they needed. But man, Joker, Wookie, Def Redux, that engagement on the backside of OBJ was just seconds away from being on either side. A fantastic grenade from Wookie and a C4 for the dead body. But whew, what a round.
That is kill confirmed for sure.
Kill confirmed. Now here's a package for the afterlife.
That's exactly right, and it was a good toss too. I mean, it landed right on his body. I was a little shocked. The grenade, did kill him. I kind of thought it would just be a down, which would have made the C4 maybe necessary, but it does prevent the revive. I think maybe the C4 was well spent. We'll see how this all mounts up here as we're coming in. Raptors on defense now with a east courtyard objective.
Yeah, Marksman taking some shots down onto that center street. Makes him a little wary now, but he's not going to push off of that. We also do have Soldiers who pushes up into that second floor of Kiat and is in a position to possibly catch Cappy. Sees him, but James there going to trade with Soldiers, actually saving Cappy there.
Hard push from James and moving across any kind of either the Kiats, the buildings, and that's a hard push all across the board.
Confirmed. Are you stabbing him? Just did.
Yeah, now right pick now holding that front side of Kiat. We also do have, let's see, who is this over here on the east side? We've got Wookie now in the southeast, trying to push here. Not going to face much opposition until he gets to that courtyard.
Slowly seeing things develop here. We've got a couple of different pushes around. They're gonna try to take an approach, it looks like, to surround that courtyard and then move in.
Yeah, definitely. There's battles going on in the north as Def Redux finds Defilade in the north, and Tiger's gonna find Skyjoker as well. Cappy looking for the refrag is gonna find it. 2v3. Wookie in the southeast, Cappy in the north. We've got 3 defenders on OBJ to deal with.
Talking about threading the needle. Cappy picked him up. It looked like there was a crack between the houses, between the pillar and that back room. Great shot from Cappy. But Redux moved up there and then got that kill so fast on Defilade. It was a great shot.
Yeah, Cappy is looking at this north alley now. Smokes it out, blinds a lot of visibility. This is going to help them out quite a bit if Wookie just needs to cross the street and catch up with Cappy now. They have to get on that east side, get eyes towards OBJ, take out Tiger, and an avenue sort of starts to open up. Utility going to come out. That's going to be a good flash onto Tiger. Looking for the kill onto Tiger. He just barely misses the angle onto Tiger there.
I wonder if Cappy suspects, and he definitely heard the gunshots from in there. I wonder if he can make the decision between, but it seems like Raptors are trying to establish where they're being attacked from at this point.
Cappy's stealthing onto this inside here, but Marksman's going to be the one to hear it and pulls a C4, taking out Cappy, leaving just Wookie now. All alone in 1v3.
I guess we're taking bets now at this point, are we not? We're taking bets.
Oh, he can, if he just looks up a little bit further, he'd spot Tiger there. He can't see it seems, and doesn't spot that motion as well. Tiger doesn't spot it either. Unless there... Actually, I guess there's a pillar there. No, but Tiger is peeking occasionally. Wookie just unable to spot that in the darkness.
So Tiger will have beams coming up underneath there, kind of blocking his view of that very clearly. So I mean, it'd be a hard one. If he was crouched a little bit, he'd have a better shot at it. But hard visibility line.
Yeah, Wookie with 2 minutes now. He just has defenders on OBJ to deal with. The route here is tough. I mean, he can't really go north. All the different entry points are being watched. He's going to have to pick and roll here. Hopefully he can get Tiger or Marksman first and then force some rotations.
I think that's got to be the play here at this point. I mean, really, he can't take on Tiger unless he's got a grenade in his pocket. Because that's a pretty standard spot for anyone to play is where Tiger's at. The problem is you have to either go through the alley behind or you have to go over that wall there, and both are hard tosses, as they'd be mostly blind. So VR Marksman, right pick are really his only options to break into that courtyard, and he's got 1 minute and 15 seconds left to do it.
Yeah, the pallets is probably his best angle to take out Tiger, but he just doesn't spot him there, and he's going to walk into Tiger's line of fire as Tiger finishes him off. 3-0 Raptors now.
We could see a shutout happening here from Raptors moving into the 4th round here of Bazaar. No real standouts as far as Soldier Z is ahead on kills at 5, but there's 3 other his fellow teammates, Tiger Strike, Right Pick, and Marksman, all with 3 kills each. I mean, it's been a pretty balanced playbook across the board, a lot of chaos, and Raptors have come out on top.
Yeah, definitely. They're holding good defensive lines. They're getting early picks, and they're doing all the right things. They're playing very disciplined. They're not peeking unnecessarily. They're looking like a top team that's gonna challenge that #1 spot this season. That's what they're gunning for. They're number 3 in the league right now for the regular season standings, but I'm sure in their minds and they're working for is getting that top spot in the postseason.
Absolutely, I would completely agree. And I mean, it was a very different defensive structure even between that one and the last one, where it was center Kiot. Center Kiot, they were peeking a lot. They were looking different angles. It didn't feel very structured. It felt like, well, I'm going to take this half and you take that half. That one felt like I knew where 1, 2, and 3 spots were, and they watched their lines.
Yeah, for sure. And looks like now we're going to have Raptors with quick spawn, but they're not going to really push it. We have a line in the north with 3 standing and just sort of holding it. 1 holding mid street and 1 pushing the south. A very early setup there to just prevent any aggression.
I mean, Deflate is going to kind of take that long angle there. Maybe even a sniper style position here, looking all the way down. And if they do progress down the street, they will have to deal with him quickly.
Yeah, Def is in danger potentially from Deflate. A very nice angle, and he might Deflate might spot Def Redux very soon. Deflate does. There's that Def on Def. 1 for Deflate, 0 for Def.
That's a couple duos. I think that's his 3rd duo this series, where he's taken 2 down at a time.
I didn't even catch that second one. Where did that second one happen?
So Rypick was behind him, also approaching
wow.
down north, but he was on the opposite side of the street. So Defilade had taken him out against the wall and then turned and looked just as he had peeked out, trying to get the refrag down there and go look for him, and he picked him up along those wood housing line. Really a great series of shots.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And now he rotates and is focused on the east. James covering the north now, taking up that angle instead. And a tight defensive setup here. All 5 of Mayhem still alive. With, on the Raptor side, 2 on that Courtyard Bazaar side, and 1 in the southeast. Or just east now, I guess.
Yeah, I'm feeling like Mayhem's pretty... Ooh, and that went through the seam. But I don't think that'll find anybody there on the other side. Good throw from Soldier Z. I feel Yeah, this is similar to the last defense that Mayhem had, where we were, I think, at a 5-on-3, but it
true.
feels solid right now. I think Raptors has their work cut out for them trying to kind of break into this box.
Yeah, this Mayhem defense is not peaking, and they're not going to walk into any lines of fire anytime soon. So that's going to be the difference between this round and that key out round. But it looks like Tiger Striker might have made it across Cappy's line of sight into that east side, and now Deflated will have to deal with him. Soldiers there, very close to OBJ, just waiting for anybody to peek it.
That is a cappable spot, so if Soldiers can get in there, he can kind of stick his tablet out from that doorway, and it becomes a cappable position. So it is a dangerous spot for him, but it's not immediately dangerous at this point.
Soldiers is creeping up onto Cappy, and a peek through this window will be pretty deadly for Cappy, as Cappy's on his tablet right now. Soldiers hears the Soldiers peeks. Cappy's not looking, and he's gonna find a kill onto Cappy.
That does open up that center area. Tablet's out, he's looking. James walking back towards that direction. Decides not to peek it. Clutch revive back there. Tiger Strikeman, VR Marksman brings us to a 3v3. 3-0.
Looking like
Mayhem.
that key out round again. They've got those 2 picks. The utility's rolling in now. Man, this could be Raptors sealing the deal. Shots onto Joker there from the northeast. James is now distracted a bit by that northeast. Soldiers pushes in. Drops off as James also drops off. Soldiers is now inside objective room. He's looking to just find anybody who's going to peek it.
Wookie was looking like his laser was going that way, but then he, had turned away. So I'm not sure if maybe he thought he saw something, but he didn't actually. This could be an interesting play. James peeking that corner once again, checking to make sure Soldiers didn't walk out and trying to cap in.
Yeah, James and Soldiers just peeking at alternate periods there, but Marksman's gonna find that kill, and now Soldiers gets an OBJ, finds Joker, and Tiger's gonna find
Whoa.
Wookie. That was, wow, what a crash there from all 3 of them.
That was insane. It just all happened all at once. It was just it kind of poured out of everywhere. So James went down. When James went down, I think either everyone was tablet aware or it just happened all at the same time. But I mean, you had a series of 3 kills that happened back to back there. Pulling away a 4-0 for Raptors. Pulling away the series for him there. What a great hold from Raptors' perspective, and just really a clutch pull out in the end there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And this was 2 defensive rounds for Mayhem where they had the numbers advantage. They were up 5-3, and they couldn't hold it because Raptors just methodically diced them apart and then collapsed in, finding the final kills. Just really, really, really dominant performance of Raptors. And a week before the playoffs, they've got to be feeling good now, especially after loss last week. They're they got a chance to reset now. You get some time to go make some new strats and identify some new stuff to do, and they're going to come into the playoffs with a full heat of Onward play now. So can't wait to see what they do in the postseason, and can't wait to see Mayhem in the Challenger Cup this season. I think it's the week's not over yet. Anything can happen, but I think this is definitely not the way we saw the season going at the beginning, 15 weeks ago.
Sure. I mean, Raptors was a dominant force, last season going into the finals. And then, coming in, they had, a little bit of a roster shuffle, but have, climbed diligently, worked diligently, and put in the work. Ultimately pulling out a W here today, ultimately at the end of the season. So, and just fantastic plays across the board. Some fantastic nades went out today. But ultimately a couple of just really, really just beautifully placed shots coming out from Raptors and well-timed plays just dicing apart a defense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they came here to play tonight, and we'll have to see if we're gonna have a lot more high-octane, amazing matchups this week. I'm sure of it. Can't wait to see what else lies. It's only Monday, so I'm sure we'll have some more amazing games in the lineup. But that's going to be it from us on the casting deck today. I was your caster, Etch. Thank you, Kesnei, for joining me on this great game, last-minute pickup. And let's run the highlight reel. Shout out to everybody who tuned in today. Shout out to all of our sponsors who are providing the amazing prizes for this postseason. And we will see you all next time.
Next time. Thank you, Etch. On that push forward, I think was a pivotal moment there. Kept this alive because it had to be then a push there coming in from a one person, which is Cappy, and of course Pipe. Smoke coming out from Rypick to obscure Cappy's position here. A very similar defense set up here. James almost gets picked up from behind. Wookie knows the Death Blade went down. I mean, obviously it's disappeared from the tablet, but he has to, I would assume, be aware that that area would be compromised on some level. Aware that that area would be compromised on some level. And may take a different path out.
Soldiers with a nice kill and a second one.
Oxymoron is best. Tiger is watching this long line here. All the way across. He will pick up the key. It's hard to say. Although we do have Tiger Striker coming down the south stairs. It looks like he's going to try to sneak up here on Mono. Backed up by Def Redux. Meanwhile, you've got Soldier Z looking down towards the division. Cappy, it definitely comes all the way out. Does pick up Soldier Z.
Wow. Gonna continue pushing. Tosses another great frag, possibly.
Is that a frag? That's
It's
deadly.
gonna get
Oh!
two. Wow.
Does pick up two.
Know that they can try to choke out the defense here and go for a cap here, maybe. Utility coming out. What a great frag.
Whoa.
Gonna catch FG Soldiers. Another one gonna trigger the C4 on Wookie. His Def is not looking that way at all.
He can. I think the problem is if Def happens to fall back, which he did not, but James didn't have a way up.
Utility coming out from James. That was a very close grenade onto Tiger. Just a few feet far. Here's another one coming in. This might be good to find two, but finds one.
Is off. Does not find anybody.
Cappy taking shots from Def Redux. Tight angle. James with a follow-up frag
Another
right
grenade.
onto where Def is. It's gonna find him. Defender get behind him.
Soldier Z is watching that line, which may be to his detriment if it happens. It definitely comes around the corner.
Shots onto James. Identifies that it is him. And a frag comes out from James. Not gonna quite land. Here's another one that's gonna get Cappy. Oh, great. This is the shots Def with the swing back. Sky Joker hides and tucks in a corner. Wookie now trying to find that frag onto Def. Def, this is a three-way fight. A frag comes out, gonna find Def
and it
on
does
the
find
backside.
him.
Actually from Def Blade, a very nice angle, and he might, Def Blade might spot Def Redux very soon. Def Blade does. Soldiers is creeping up onto Cappy, and a peek through this window will be pretty deadly for Cappy, as Cappy's on his tablet right now. Soldiers hears the Soldiers peeks. Cappy's not looking, and he's gonna find a kill onto Cappy.
On that push forward, I think was a pivotal moment there. Kept this alive because it had to be then a push there coming in from a one person.